And we are back with once and future continuation of the big great war taking place between Arthur and Arthur, both demon kings in their own rights. But in this world, we see that it's not only stories coming from England that are coming alive, but all stories, including Greek mythology. The gods and monsters are real. Welcome back to my YouTube channel where we talk about comics, manhwa, stuff and stuff. And we follow our heroes, Duncan, his grandmother, and his baby girl Rose. Going forth into the city of Bath to save Rose's parents, they decided to go in stealth. But Duncan was shocked because what he saw was a whole town turned into stone. The Gorgon, which is male for some reason, had apparently just gone on a killing spree, turning every single person he sees into stone, or killing them by normal means. This was a horrific sight to see, so they decided to just head in straight, directly into Rose's mother and father's apartment. Granny saw this building and was like, bruh, you rich, you didn't tell us that. But Rose clearly wasn't fond of this place. This place was mostly occupied by white people, and she was brown skinned. She left because she was uncomfortable. And as soon as she said this, Granny realized that she had made a mistake, apologizing for bringing that up. So they went to search for Rose's parents. As soon as they got to the door, Rose knocked on it. When she heard no response, she almost lost her shit, only to realize that her parents were not just alive, but they were still bickering like a married couple that they were. She was happy. She was actually excited. As soon as they opened the door, it felt like a ray of sunshine in her life. The apocalypse is cool as long as you have your parents by your side. They sat down for a second. They caught up with everyone's life. And Rose's father got prepared because he was a fan of Greek mythology. So he used his time wisely, making a shield out of tin foils to use against the Gorgon. But the thing is, before they can even leave, someone was waiting for them. Night dripped out in head to toe. He was looking for Duncan and Rose because both of them had respective names of well-known knights. Duncan was Percival because he was raised to be like Percival, and that was his actual middle name. Rose was Gawain because she accepted the challenge of the Green Knights. She now has a story attached to her name, meaning every other knight of the round that is currently alive can track both of them. There was no way on earth Granny was going to let that happen. She had her trusty grenade, and she tossed it directly at the knight, causing a gigantic explosion, which in some ways put them more in danger because it got the attention of the freaking Gorgon. Rose decided to stay behind, laying down cover fire so the rest can run away, and her mother was shocked. Bruh, I sent you to school to study. In what world is it normal for you to be shooting AKs, bruh? But the saddest part is, those bullets had no effect. Granny was pissed off because she had bought them from apparently a fake priest. She was a bit distracted. She didn't notice the Gorgon pull up, but thankfully she was quick on her feet. She grabbed the hold of the tinfoil shield and covered his face, shouting at everyone to run, which they did. She was actually happy for once. She thought she had succeeded in protecting everyone. She wasn't watching where she was stepping. Thankfully, she was quick. She almost fell to hell, and I mean that in the most literal sense. This was otherworld/reality, so that was the river Styx, flowing directly into the underworld. They were trapped in a cave, but she didn't plan on dying, shouting with all of her strength towards the knight, telling him there's a monster, knowing full well the knight would never run away from a monster. He's a knight. The Gorgon was already there, about to take everyone's head off, when he felt something drop against his flesh. He turned around, pissed off, only to look at the ground and see it was an eyeball. The knight pulled out his own eyeball because he loved to fight so freaking much. He took arrows to the chest, slicing up the Gorgon's stomach, letting his guts hang out, and he gave chase. Filled with bloodlust, he wanted to fight. I like this type of energy. But with them fighting, Granny and the rest found their way to escape. Back in the castle though, she made it clear that she won't be staying for long, because right now, these two have stories connecting them to the round table, so they had to dip. Granny, just to protect everyone, put everything she knows on paper, which is against her whole religion because someone can read the book and find out what they don't need to find out. But they were already at the end of days. There was no longer any need to be hiding the truth. Everybody said their goodbyes. Rose's parents asked Duncan to protect their child, and Granny, she just wanted a photo, just to remember this moment. She had lost too many people. The only way she can remember them is through photos. She was happy and sad at the same time because she knew deep down nothing lasts forever. And right now they were going to a very dangerous place, the home of the greatest hunter who ever lived. But before she left, she made sure to give the chest to the nurse. He was the one to protect everyone now. Before she left, before everyone left, they were on the road. But as usual, there was always a hater watching. And we see this hater is actually Mary, Duncan's mother. As the nurse tried to make heads or tails of every note Granny had given him, they noticed a sound. Something was approaching, something very large. As soon as they looked out the window, they saw a freaking giant. He was here to rumble. But Granny wasn't having much luck because she was literally being chased down by another story, or rather another poem. A guy on top of a gigantic horse. It's not Hercules, trust me. It's just a random French poem, and he wants them to join King Arthur, calling to them, shouting, "Cowards, join the one true King Arthur now." But Granny was not letting nobody join nothing. She had a rocket launcher and she was going to use it, but the lion was a freaking fire-breathing lion. When they finally got to the spot, there was no time to hit the brakes, so Rose just charged in. She was a really good driver during the apocalypse, even if she was messing everything up, because they crashed into a barn. It was time to open up the tunnel though, and it was locked. She tried to unlock it, but Granny was like, nah, shift. She blasted the lock open, calling to Duncan, and Duncan dived in the nick of time. He was about to get roasted. He was thanking God for his day life, but he didn't know the people at the castle were going through it. They had to face a giant that really wanted to eat their flesh, literally saying fee, fi, fo, fum. The nurse tried to distract him with the bell, running with all her strength, but the freaking giant was fast. As soon as he noticed the nurse, he attacked, literally running towards the nurse like Attack on Titan, and almost killing him, but thankfully he got back in. Reading one of the notes left by Granny, you can never fight a giant. All you could do is make a deal with the fairies. Take the best cow, the most healthy cow, and make an offering. And they looked at each other so confused, but they did what she said. Back with Duncan though, we just discovered the greatest hunter in history was William Shakespeare, and Granny was here looking for a specific weapon. What she found was a quill, one part of a greater weapon. But if this was not going to help them, they had other weapons to pick from, because outside was a big gigantic lion looking to eat them alive. While they prepared for war, King Arthur's forces were getting decimated and he was frustrated. He was visibly going insane, asking for all his knights. So Merlin decided to summon the one sent to get Percival, and he came back petrified. Apparently, plucking out his eyes didn't help. He was still turned to stone. King Arthur was disappointed in Merlin, and Merlin knew this. He was frustrated. He never liked to fail his king. So he went to the stalls and he found freaking Galahad that used to be a perfect man, now taking dumps and eating hay like a freaking horse. Galahad knew deep down that he was meant for more than this, and he went off to find his real father. And right now, his brother was about to face a big, gigantic lion. When he came out, the lion was dead, and so was his rider. They thought they were safe, but Granny knew better. Granny shouted, "Get down," but it was too late. There was a red dot on her head. Someone had her in her sights, and she shouted, "Stay where you are. Don't tempt me, mother." It was Mary the hater.